I think there's some very pragmatic things that happen in hospital home that tend to be a lot more oriented around team building and just fun. And so one of the things I struggled with in brick and mortar as a hospitalist was that you often don't get to know individual nurses or individual speech language pathologists or individual paramedics. It's people are rotating through too fast. And I think one of the things that's a ton of fun is we have a mission control. We have a group of nurses and docs who come together every day, and it's a small team. We've got 6 or 7 hospitalists. We've got a similar number of nurses. We've got a slightly smaller number of paramedics, and so we get to know each other really well. We work together all the time. We all have strengths and weaknesses. We're all teaching each other things, and so it's just very rewarding. I think very pragmatically. I also will say from a very pragmatic lens, all of our hospitalists are virtual, but early on in their training, they spend time in mission control, getting to know the team. And then our nurses, we have a combination of in-home and clinical coordinating nursing roles. And I'll certainly let Candy talk more in depth. I will say that the glue for the team is our clinical coordinator nursing role. And so this is, imagine it sort of like an eye in the sky, sort of a 30,000 or 20,000 foot lens view of what's happening in our virtual hospital. So for instance, if we have 8 to 10 patients, which we're increasingly having over the last couple of weeks on service, there's a lot of logistics and resource movement and allocation to take care of, oh, this patient's a little sicker, we need to do this. Oh, this patient needs this. And so we have clinical coordinating nurses who sit in our mission control. Once in a while, they swing out into the field to support our bedside nurses, but they're really sort of the eye in the sky, and they know more about the docs and the nurses and the patients than anybody else in our whole mission control. Without them, we would be lost. Candy, I'd love to hear your view.
I couldn't agree more, Taki. That clinical coordinator role is your air traffic controller. As Taki said, they oversee every portion. They run the multidisciplinary rounds in the morning. Then throughout the day, they're constantly reprioritizing, coordinating care. We've learned very early on that when you have staff that are traveling, it's hard to engage them from a text messaging standpoint, from a safety, we want to try and keep them safe as they're driving. We found that they're often pulling off to the side of the road because they weren't sure if they needed to be on secure chats so that's part of our PDSA that we do every day. But that one individual here, because you have to have somebody who's screening for new admissions, that one individual here is kind of directing the case manager, directing the care, making sure the DME arrives. That is an incredibly important role. We're really fortunate because this team has actually worked together in the emergency department in the past. Many of them were, resource and flow nurses, again, air traffic controllers for a football field side department. This I think was relatively easy for them because they're used to directing things that they can't always see. But because the nuance here is the fact that it's services that they've never had to arrange in the past. So every day they're learning, and we work on our efficiency every day. But they are incredibly important to the success of the program.